Evening, everyone, and welcome back to another live stream. I say another one. It has been quite a while, but hope everyone is doing well. Of course, we were doing the previews, but as the season went on, it just got a bit sort of meh. Just the fact that it was sort of plodding along and not really much was happening. But of course, now we're getting it into the summer, getting into the business end. Hopefully, we can see some more movement. So whenever there will be a few transfers, we will do another live and just give it a bit more of a talking point and obviously more of a debate, and also get fans on as well. So, but yeah, anyway, hope you guys are doing well. If you are watching it back on the replay, I will also start leaving timestamps in the description. So if you don't want to watch the whole thing, which obviously some people might not want to do, I will leave different timestamps. So people can go on and click on different parts. But yeah, joined by Neil. Obviously, yeah. How's the summer been, and how was the holiday in Greece?
Yeah, mate, holiday was nice. Yeah, good to get away and that. Like, I don't mind pre-season. Do you know what I mean? I quite like the break. Like whether we do anything as far as go up, do nothing, whatever. Like I'm quite glad of the break, to be honest. I look forward to it when it rolls round, but at the minute, I'm quite happy to not have any football at the minute and wait for it to come along when it does, sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it is gonna be mad. Back on the Saturday, Tuesdays, all the games, and yeah. But yeah, there's also one thing I want to get in. Obviously, me and Neil were just chatting backstage, and if some of you might have watched the EF debate I'd done with Gab yesterday, and I was talking about I just don't want to change it and do it. I'm thinking of a bit of a rebrand on the channel, bit of a fresh start, as in it being still pretty much being the same, where I do the match reactions and we do the live streams and stuff, but just making it as and calling it as a podcast. Because obviously, when I started the channel, 4 years ago now, it's flown by. Obviously, I called it One Rovers Vlogs. My ambition was to vlog, but I haven't really had the sort of chance or this proper gear to do it. So I think it's good to have a bit of a rebrand, fresh start. So yeah, keep an eye on that. And that will be sort of a podcast that will be uploaded as well to Spotify and Apple Podcasts, etc. Just so it gets more people about, because I think the break I had, is quite a gap off YouTube, and then obviously coming back in the last few months. So yeah, hope you guys would be fine with that. I'm sure most of you will. I'm sure when a lot of new people come on and they're like, why is he called One Rovers Vlogs? But yeah, just to let you guys know that is the plan. In the next couple of weeks, maybe even a week or so, there will be changing the sort of banner and the look of the channel, just to go into a fresh start. But even into Wayne, who's in the comments, hope you're doing well. Even into Matt's as well. Even into Mitch Bresington. Yeah, announcing who's signing. I know it is it is a bit frustrating. Even it would just be nice, to have one through the door. But I think now it's getting to the stage where now we're going to be coming back to pre-season next week, I'm guessing. I think we hopefully might see some activity on the transfer front. Hopefully, obviously, we will get into that as well. Even into Clarke Harris as well. Hope you're doing well. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Do subscribe if you are new to the channel. And if you do have any questions or different topics you want to chat about, then do get them in the comments. We always do read the comments as well. But yeah, obviously the before we do get into the fixtures, because we haven't done an episode of the live, I just want to get Neil's thoughts on obviously last season briefly. I don't want to talk about it too much because it was a sort of a tale of two halves. Really started slowly and up to about October, then went on a really good run until January. And then, like I've talked about on the channel a bit before, Bobby Thomas went back. A few injuries started appearing, especially Rossiter. I think he was the main one with his injury. And he might not even, I think he's had a bit of a relapse with the injury as well. So I hope it's not too serious. We'll have to see. Hopefully it's not that much of a bad relapse. But yeah, what was your thoughts on it? Why do you think it went slowly downhill a bit in the second half of the season? Do you reckon it was the more additions coming in and the fact that there was injuries and Bobby Thomas, and it sort of affected it because we also changed formation as well. We went from a 3-4-1-2 to like a 4-2-3-1, 4-4-3-3 in the second half of the season. So what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I don't think you're too far wrong, to be honest. The way I look at it is we picked our points up early and it gave us a bit of false hope, to be honest. We got good points early on, and then the Ross injury came along. He was massive for us. You could see how good he was. Even before he signed and he came through the door, you could tell he's exactly what our sort of culture under Barton and the way we play and what we're about. He suited us down to the ground. He was never going to have a problem fitting into what sort of Whelan, Coots, Finley. He's that mould, you know what I mean? And when we lost him, it hurt us. And then it was sort of you get to sort of January, and I think you sit down with your owner and your chief exec and Barton, and you go, right, it's stick or twist. Do we go for this? Do we spend a bit and do we try and have a right good go at this at the first bit, or do we say, do you know what, we've picked up good points. The chances are we can do without blowing money in the January where the market's a bit up and down. You never know what you're going to get. Everything's a bit inflated. Or you can say, do you know what, we'll stick. We'll finish middle of the road. We'll muddle through to the end and keep all our money in the coffers for the summer if we need it. I think that's the route they went down, to be honest. And do you know what I mean? There's some fans, it frustrates them because you think, do you know what? Go on, kick on. Let's go and spend a bit and try and get us gamble to get into that top six. But if you miss out and you finish nowhere, you get another injury, your signings don't work out, you've done your money for the summer and further forward. So in the heat of the moment in January, thinking, go on, kick on again, as some fans would, but I think you sat here now, you're thinking it was a good decision. We remained in League One, we muddled through, we sort of we never stamped our authority on the league as far as a formation or a pattern of who we were. Like in League Two, everyone knew what we were about. When we started a game, everyone knew it was like pedal to the floor, bodies flying forward, the double screen that was helping us out defensively, and we just outgunned sides. We never really knew what we were last season. We sort of muddled through in phases. No one really picked up the mantle and like Evans did, and then Elliot Anderson came in January and lifted us again. We never really had that momentum in League One, and we just decided to muddle through, keep our money in our pockets, and stay a League One side. And to be honest, smart. I think it's the best way to do it.
Yeah. Because obviously, what happened? I'm pretty sure, looking back at it, Barton, he went on the radio with Jess Twentyman saying about, and I think he even come out and said it after the window about that he put a bid in for Taylor to buy him. Obviously, he didn't want to let him go. I think it was O'Neill at the time. And then we had that Angus McDonald we were strongly linked with, but obviously went to Aberdeen. And then obviously you look at it, obviously Bogard done well. Obviously you look at Quansah, it's sort of hard because it was his first ever loan spell. It's difficult because even when we were doing well up to January or just after, we were still conceding goals, but we were scoring a lot and creating a lot and winning games, or at least not losing as much. We had a few draws in there, but it's sort of one of those we just got to kick on hopefully now and see what happens. Even into Louis as well said, I'm a Vale fan but disappointed that Blackpool away is on a Tuesday night in August. Really wanted to go. I mean, Tuesday night for us, me and Neil love them, but yeah, we'll get into that because Blackpool's a bit of an annoying one for Rovers fans. The time is situated. Even into Larry Pierce as well. Hope you're doing well. Matt saying a feeling is when Barton's back from holidays and obviously wedding because Eddie Jennings, the recruitment at Rovers, it was his wedding, so congrats to him and his new wife as well. Yeah, Jason saying podcast sounds cool. Yeah, I think it just makes sense, really, just so it gives more of a clear picture and it's just a fresh start, to be honest. Kieran West saying, do you think we're in with a chance with Wilson and Walker? Wilson, yeah. I mean, we was going to get on with the fixtures first, but now you've brought it up, we might as well get onto it. Of course, it come out last Tuesday out of nowhere, which I prefer as a fan. I'd rather not be just linked with. I'm just fed up with doing. Obviously, this sort of the aim of the channel, doing videos with Rovers, but I'm fed up with doing videos just saying we're linked or whatever, and then half of them is like that. But he was meant to have a medical, wasn't he, as well last week? It is a bit worrying, but I still think we will get it done because I think that's a real statement in it, and that's the sort of player and experience we need, especially at the back. We had experience in midfield, but not at the back, obviously, apart from Belshaw. But within the defence, they're all and they were all under 23, 22 last season. So what do you make of getting that James Wilson, especially on a free transfer?
Yeah, I think it makes sense. It's good business. If we can get it done, I think it could be one of them. It could be done yet. You know what I mean? It was so strongly linked, and it was pretty much everyone was reporting it as being a done deal. So it could be done. It's just when the club want to announce it, like you said, there's the senior body is away from the club at the minute, so it could be one of them that when everyone returns, they'll chuck it out there as a done deal. I mean, what is he? 30, 34 sort of Wilson, is he?
Yeah, 34. Yeah.
I mean, take the age out of it. Experience to me is games. Forget age, it's games. And I mean, he's obviously got good games under his belt. He was a central figure to what Plymouth did last season. Yeah. So as far as a culture, he's a winner. He's a what I'd call a proper centre half. You mean he plays second, you know what I mean? He heads it, he kicks it. He does what Connor Taylor has been brought up to do as far as a culture of it goes first and you play second. I mean, we had a lot of what I call last season, manufactured centre halves. They're very good at trying to play, but when it comes down to the nitty gritty of having a League One centre forward that can back into you, do the ugly stuff and get their elbows flying around, certain personnel go missing. Wilson won't. So I think it makes sense. Yeah, I'll be more than happy if we can get that one done.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you said about the age, it would worry me more if it was like obviously the Marquis situation where before he joined us, I think the season before he got an injury and he was playing less and less. But now with Wilson, I think he's made 95 appearances in the last 2 seasons. Obviously, getting 80 points in the first season at Plymouth and just missing out, and then obviously winning the league, playing 41 league games. And like I said, in the video when we were linked to, he's won the league 4 times. Obviously, twice in League One, twice in League Two. Played at big clubs. Obviously, I know he come for the youth academy at City, but I'm not really bothered about that. That's just is what it is. But yeah, I mean, hopefully he does.
It ticks a lot of boxes, doesn't it? I mean, he's going to be 34. He's probably got a family. He wants to stay in the area. Yeah. He's a fit, healthy boy by the seam of it. Looks like they've done their own work as far as medical history, games under his belt. Culture's going to be there. He's a winner. You know what I mean? Won enough leagues. Southwest. You know what I mean? It ticks a lot of boxes. It seems like a good one to get done, to be honest.
Yeah. I completely agree with that. What one? Oh yeah, Tyler Walker was the other one. I think thing is with him, we've been linked to him like the past 3 years. For me, I think on my video I said I would have him, but I wouldn't have him as a starter. But looking back, I just think we can do better than that. He's had 2 good seasons. One of them, I think one was in 2017-18, and the other good one was the season after. I think he got 20 plus goals. I think he got 17 with Lincoln in League One up to January, and then he got Mansfield the full season, like 20 odd goals. But I wouldn't have him. Looking back at it, I wouldn't have him, to be honest. Max is saying, who will Sam? There is a guy, I can't remember his name because they're still doing on the Bristol Live. I can't remember his name, but they have got a guy. But even them, it's sort of hard on it to trust it's hard with you. That's sort of their job to sort of get a story, and there's only a few really that you can properly trust. It is hard, to be honest. But yeah, obviously Sam Frost has gone to move on to other things. But yeah, I think the same person at Bristol Live will have the same sort of sources, to be honest, whoever's doing it. Even into I Like Horses. Jason saying, what players have you seen sign for other clubs you would have liked for us? Well, Neil, that brings me nicely on to what at least one player I know on your list that you would have. Well, we could still get him because he's went to a Premier League club, but he's still young. But looking at your sort of recruitment plan, who have you got on there, and what players would you like as a fan? Obviously, forgetting. Obviously, we're not the management or whatever recruitment team, but if there was your decision, who would you like to see at Rovers?
Yeah, I think missed out on a couple that I'd have liked to seen come through the door. But I mean, immediately, the couple that we've missed out on that I'd have really liked would have been Ethan Beerley, who's gone to Brentford B. I mean, when we went up there to watch us play Rochdale, when we got that daft win, when that second half where it all went crazy. But
yeah,
to be fair, the first sort of half hour that Ethan Beerley ran it, you could see he's technically really gifted, really high football IQ for his age, playing in a really bad side, to be honest. I think he'd only had sort of 5-6 appearances to the time he played against us.
He is young.
You could see he was really, really clever on the ball. He took up good positions. He was really nice and positive on the half turn for a kid. It doesn't surprise me that Brentford have gone and wanted to put him in their sort of development plan. If we could get him on a season-long loan, I'd be more than happy with that, to be honest. I think he'd fit into what we're about, to be honest. The other one we missed out on that I'd like, the same sort of mould that I think would fit right into our midfield, is Max Sanders from Lincoln. I think he's gone to Orient. I think he'd have done us really well in the middle of our midfield. It would have slotted in nicely with the sort of players that we've got. And the other one I think that we've missed out on, he would have probably been tough to get, to be honest, but Curtis Nelson is a centre half.
Yeah, Curtis. Yeah, he was on my list. Where has he gone?
Don't know. I think he's gone. Maybe Derby. Do you know what I mean? If people are paying money, like Derby's going to have a budget and a half, aren't they? Again, so if someone like Derby is sniffing around you, it's going to be difficult to try and get him. And Curtis Nelson's operated, at a high level. He's sought after. He always is. We'd have done well to get him, to be honest. There's a couple on my list that we could still go out and get. I mean, no one's doing anything with Danny Mayer at the minute, and I think he'd be great for us, to be honest, as far as like an out-and-out 10 who can open a door. I know we've got Azza, but he has to make a lot of his own chances for us last season. You see, he has to create his own sort of work, and I think we haven't got anyone who can sit in that pocket and who's cultured, done it, played loads of games and can open the door. He's obviously in the area, Mayer, and if we could get him, I'd be more than happy with that. There's a few like sort of left field ones. I'd like to take Ben Wayne off of Plymouth on a season-long load. I don't think he's going to make loads of appearances for him, but he can play on the shoulder and get right and behind. There's a few loans that I'd like, to be honest. Like John McAtee. I think we could do some business there to get in that sort of player in the Owl. I'd like us to try and go and get Scott Wootton, to be honest, as a centre half. I think he could really tighten us up. Another old school proper centre half that won't mind a dark, wet Tuesday night under the lights when the winters come in, and there's centre halves that are going to really fancy it. I think sort of, if you talk about Wilson, Wootton's in that sort of mould as well, but he's got the sun on his back playing out in New Zealand at the minute. So whether he's going to want to leave the A-League at his age, and if he thinks, I've got it cushy over it, it's quite nice. But if he fancies another pop at it, I've got a few more. I've got a list as long as me arm, to be honest. I quite like the look of Killip, if we can get him as a goalkeeper to try and just bulk up that squad. I really liked him. I know he was in a side getting pumped every week, but he was busy, and when he was called upon, he was normally pretty good. I thought Ben Killip, and he'd be cheap. Charlie Good, another centre half that's gone missing as far as a career. I think we could reignite that. There's a few floating around. I quite like the look of Sam Smith from Cambridge. I thought we could get him done. He
literally reminds me of Collins. The way
as far as you try and pick a player that can fit into what we do, as far as our culture and the way we work and the way we operate. And I think that players that I've listed off there, I think they're deals that could be done. I like Simiu, the guy who's gone on loan to a few clubs from Southampton. He's looked good when he played, I think, against us from Carlisle. Looked good. And as far as a young player that we can sort of develop, Tasha Manger on a season-long loan, if we can get him from sort of Peterborough, if they're going to do business at the top end of the pitch again, he's going to find himself on the bench.
I mean, why not even when out of field, but why not even put in a bid for some transfer listed striker from Peterborough?
I think it's going to be wages dependent. I think we need to see which direction the club's going to go in, because if we're looking to operate off the back of, you know, what Peterborough do, potentially sell Collins for 5.5 million, if that's the asking price, and then do something with that money to get 5 or 6 through the door off the back of that money. I'm not sure. Or do we build a side round Collins? It all depends on how the club want to operate, to be honest. But there's a few in there, you know, talk about midfield. I think we're going to have to bulk that midfield something terrible. The way we operate and the way we play in our culture, we get through a lot of bookings and a lot of injuries due to the fact that how hard our midfield work. I mean, Elliot Watt didn't go up with Salford. I'd love him.
Yeah, Elliot Watt. I think he got something like 15 or 16 assists from centre midfield.
His ball retention is brilliant as well. I think he fits into what we are. I think if a deal could get done for Elliot Watt, then I'd take it. There's loads of players like that fit into that role. I mean, Bailey Wright. I know where he's come from, what he used to be, but
what's that as in the ex-City?
Yeah, the centre half. He's going to be on a Bosman, or he's going to be walking away. And I mean, again, a centre half that can be a centre half.
Yeah, that's what we've missed in it. But I agree. I had Nelson was one. You know, I think he's 30, 31, but over 500 games he's got, and
nothing for a centre half, is it? 31.
Yeah,
no,
he's class out. He was Plymouth's youngest ever captain as well. Come through the academy there. He's pretty much played around the sort of west. Obviously, Cardiff is not far from us. He was there in the Championship, Oxford, Plymouth, and obviously most recently at Blackpool. But yeah, he would have been quality. But obviously, if he's gone, Good's an interesting one, because he was obviously at Northampton, he's a goal scorer. I think he's like 6'5", 6'6".
It was him and the kiddie from Stockport, wasn't it? Both of them. They were just animals in the air, weren't they?
Yeah, Fraser Horsfall.
That's him.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what we need as well. I think we do lack a bit of that. I know it's mainly for defence, but just a bit more of an aerial threat.
Sonny Bradley's the dream, isn't it? If you can land that.
Yeah,
somehow, but that's a pipe dream, isn't it? If you could land that, then you'd have one of the best centre halves in the league. But I think he's miles out of touch, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously, getting into another comment, Harley Harris, appreciate you joining as well. Do you see us having any more departures? It's an interesting one. Who would you let, or not let go, but who do you reckon could leave? Apart from, because as of yet, I don't think, obviously it hasn't been announced anywhere, but we haven't had anything on Collins. I think the second half of the season has sort of helped us. The fact he only got 3 goals since January. Apart from Collins, who else do you think? Like, do you think anyone will go out on loan? And maybe a McCormick, or do you think that McCormick is going to be fighting for his place, or do you reckon we might even loan him out? Or is there anyone else?
I think what you've seen from what Barton's done with Macca last season is basically said, look, we're going to wrap you in cotton wool. You've had a right grueler of a year. We're going to get you back so you're fit and healthy for pre-season first and foremost. Get a proper 6 to 8 weeks under your belt. Macca's been running now for weeks, trust me. Like, he'd have wanted to get a head start on this, and I think that, you know, we've paid a good whack for him and we've put him on a 3-year deal. He's going to want to be part of his plans. And you look at how versatile Macca is. He's pretty important to us, to be honest, to fit Macca, because he can plug holes. He can do the Saturday Tuesdays if you need to. He's got good legs about him. He can play anywhere across that middle. We can play out wide. I think you're missing a trick if you're trying to get rid of him and you're trying to shift him out to get fit elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, who else is there though? Do Do you think there's
I just
anyone
think
else?
it's the kids that need. I think it's the kids that need games under their belts. You know, the ones that we've signed on and retained. I think they'll go back out. To be honest,
Yeah, but
the Greenslades, etc.
Even that,
Joneses.
I don't really get what we've done with them, because I would have liked to. I know they've played it, in non-league, but I would have liked to seen them given more of a chance. But then on the other hand, they've only signed 1-year deals, both of them, the pair of them. So,
but you've got to look at the way the clubs. It's the way the club's structured, though, isn't it? Where else do they get games? If they don't play first team football, they don't get games anywhere else. So what they do is they integrate them into the culture of basically saying, you come and train with us all week, because they play for local sides. They don't go missing.
Yeah.
They train with us all week. They get embedded into the culture. They get us fit. They understand patterns of play and the way the club wants to operate. And they go in, like, hone their skills on a Saturday elsewhere at a lower level. And then they see if they cut the mustard for another year. It's a grueling, it's a hard apprenticeship to do. You've got to keep turning it out and keep performing, else you'll get let go. But credit to them two boys. They've managed to do it this season, and they'll look to do it again until they get given a decent squad number and a slot in that squad.
Yeah. I wanted to get your thoughts quickly on, because we haven't really talked about it. I know I've done videos about it and stuff, and other people have commented, but I just want to get your thoughts on Harry Anderson leaving, because that was I would say 50-50. I think a lot of people said, yeah, he's out of injury, doesn't score a lot of goals. He is versatile, but his injury record wasn't the best. But then you can also say that about Josh Grant. So why? And obviously, I think I know what you'll say about it, is because we've spent loads of time and sort of getting him back fit. But what do you make on Josh Grant signing a new 2-year? I think it's a 1-year deal with an option of a second, and Harry Anderson leaving. What do you make of them two?
I mean, the Harry Anderson one, it makes sense as far as I'm concerned. Like, if League Two and League One, if you've got a fit Harry Anderson, I said it. I think I said it to a Stevenage lad on Twitter. You keep him fit, you've struck gold. If you can keep him fit, you've struck gold, because a club like Stevenage getting a player like that who can operate anywhere across that pitch, really, at that club, who's just come up, he could have had other takers, I'd have thought, Harry Anderson, to be honest. But I just think it's hurt Harry, and it's hurt us a little bit. The lack of game time he's at, and the way that he's been made unavailable. And I just think the way it ties into the Josh Grant thing is, if you're trying to marry him up to be the same situation, they're not, because whether you're a fan of one or the other, Josh Grant's got a higher ceiling than Harry Anderson has. Mm-hmm. So it is at his potential peak, Josh Grant has got a higher ceiling. And I think at the end of the day, we've invested a lot of time, energy, effort, and money into Josh Grant, believing that there's a player in there that we can get out if we can get him right and fit.
Yeah.
So
saying
let him go after giving him all that rehab, to let him go would be ridiculous.
Yeah. The thing is, with him, there is definitely a player. We've seen it, especially the League Two, the League Two promotion season, when he played. I think he was mostly left back or as a wing back, and he was quality, getting up scored a couple of vital goals as well. I think home the Tranmere, the winner against Northampton. There's probably some others. Scunny as well, that lovely little Tuesday night where we nearly bottled a 3-0 lead. He scored the opening goal. But obviously he can also play in midfield. Where do you think he fits in once he's fit? Do you think he's going to be a rotation player, or do you think he could possibly start in the midfield if he's fit? Or I mean, left back, personally, I'd still like to see Lewis Gordon there, but where do you see? I think his main position coming up through the ranks at Chelsea was actually a centre back. So where do you see him fitting in?
With the way Barton wants to operate and how versatile he wants to be as a squad, I think you'll see Josh Grant play his best football probably at wing back for us, at left wing back. But again, like I said with Macca, you've got a versatile player there. He can go and play in. He can go and sit in the middle of midfield. He can go and play at left back if Gordon needs to be rested, suspended, injured, etc. He can play as a third centre half. Josh Josh Grant's got a brilliant football IQ, so he can pretty much operate wherever he needs to. He can go at right back if he needs to. He can go at right wing back if he needs to. And I don't think you're going to. A good Josh Grant, you're getting an 8 or a 9 out of 10. But when he's on par and he's level, no matter where you play him, you'll get a 7 out of him. And if you're getting a 7 out of him over the course of 40 games, if you can keep him fit, I'm not saying he's going to play 40 games, but if you can keep him fit over a 40-game season, you're going to be you're going to get a good return out of Josh Grant there as far as stats, figures, ability, and points on the board.
Yeah, it's just staying fit. Hopefully pretty much because he only played one game. He only played like 10 minutes against Oxford.
He's going to be. You're not going to see that. Even if he gets fit, you're not going to see the best of Josh Grant for a long time. That boy is going to be really nervous and probably pretty scared at the minute. You know what I mean? His career's on the line. He's had all this rehab. He's had a year out. He's had all the treatment, all the money spent on him. He's probably got a bit of weight on his shoulders to, one, repay the club, to think, I've got to get out there and start, doing what the club want me to do. And two, I mean, it's sort of last chance saloon for him, because there ain't going to be many clubs looking at him thinking, well, I'm only going to get, 11 games out of you a season. Why am I going to give you a 2-year deal and a good chunk of wedge?
Yeah, because that's, I think
nervous, mate. He's going to be a nervous boy.
Yeah, I mean, especially, I think it's his 4th season already, mine, which is crazy to think. 4th season, he's averaged 20 games since he's been here, because I think he's made about 60 appearances. But when you add up, say, a 46 league game season plus the cup games, let's say 55 games, right? So you're looking at about 170 games in 3 years. You could max play. He's only played 60s, but hopefully, like we said, he has got the highest ceiling. He is quality. He is got the IQ. He's got the versatility. But like you said, it will take him time, because he is going to be, like you said, he is going to be nervous, especially being out for so long, pretty much the whole season.
I think as a fan base, you've got to be patient with him, to be honest, because I know the season starts in August, but we can't get to October and go, Josh Grant's nothing. He's nowhere. You know what I mean? You've got to give him at least till gone into the new year to, he's got to get motoring. He's going to have sticky times. He's going to have the odd performance where he ain't great. If he feels a niggle, he's going to want to come off, to be honest. He ain't going to fight and run through that. Do you know what I mean? He's going to have a few demons to overcome, Josh Grant.
Yeah. Gas report saying, are you upset that there's no Liam Sercombe return? No, not really. I said I would take him as a backup, but that's it. I wouldn't have him starting. I think we can do better. What Barton and Wells come out and said about wage budget, etc., where they want to finish, we have to sign better. We have to sign players that are on the up of their career. Louis saying, which of the relegated sides do you think will finish the highest? I can't. Who was it? Reading, Blackpool, and Wigan. Yeah, Blackpool. I think at the moment, anyway. I know. I think Wigan's just been sort of helped. I know they're starting on -8, but at least they're.
12, isn't it? Is it 12?
Is it -12? Is it?
It might be 8. I had 12. Hopefully it's 12, but
I don't know. It's a sham. I think just feel, because they only got a new takeover, like what, when they stayed up, and when they funny enough, that Scott Wootton scored that goal against us on Joey Barton's first game in the COVID season to beat us, and they ended up obviously staying up, didn't they? But they had a takeover then. But I feel sorry for the fans. It's a shambles. If you're going to be a new owner, you don't, it's ridiculous. Danny Lloyd would be a good signing, maybe 3-4 years ago, but Barton could use his Man City links to get us a different Walker. Yeah, I wish. Maybe in a year or two time when he's 34, 35, but nah, not now. Even to Sid as well. Hope you're well. Heard we were meant to be signing 3 players last Sunday, including Wilson. Don't know why. It's probably because Joey, the recruitment team were in Italy. Only the other day. They might even still be there. I don't know if they're back now. But yeah, hopefully, I want to say this weekend. I hope fingers crossed. Anyway, we can, because obviously pre-season starts in 8 days, which is mad already to be thinking that it starts in 8 days. The first game against Melksham, and then obviously we've got Eastleigh, Swansea, and of course we're going to be playing David Beckham's son and the man that, or the kid, because he's still like 17, 18, Brearley, that you wanted in the Brentford B pre-season game. No worries, Neil. Thanks for joining. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Do subscribe if you're new as well. Like I said, if you've only just joined, I will leave timestamps in the description, so you can check out if you've missed anything. I think Maka will be a different. Yeah, I hope so. I've always liked Anderson. Don't make it to many games, but always look lively when you did. Yeah, it is a bit of a frustrating one because, like you said, it's just the injury, and I just think we just need. I know you can play left back, right mid, left wing, whatever, but I just think we just need to add a bit of a creative, because he didn't really, when he got on it, he was more of a, what's the word? I can't think, but he just wasn't that creative and didn't score many goals. I think he only got 1 goal last season and 6 in League Two as a winger. So I don't know, but obviously I wish him all the best.
League Two season, I think we played for about a month, 6 weeks, when we played inverted wingers, when he played left-hand side, and he was frightening.
He was. Yeah,
when he's fit and firing, he's a hell of a player to have, but he just isn't. He's just not that often. Do you know what I mean? You get the odd spell out of him, and then he just goes missing. He gets niggles, and it's unfortunate. It's not his fault. It's just his body breaks down. It's just how it is. But over the course of trying to build a squad to do something, you can put that money elsewhere.
Yeah. Florini would be a good one. He's been at Lincoln and Blackpool on loan. He would be quality. Grant scored against Oxford as well. Views on Loft. Yeah, I mean, for me, Loft, I think, unless you're going to get someone, pay money for someone, I don't think that, because I think, me personally, I don't know what everyone else's thoughts are. You might call me deluded, but I think he offers us something that we don't have in the rest of the squad, as in the height. I mean, when he thing is with Loft, when he did get a run of games last season, I think it was just the run of games before Bolton away on the was it the Friday night, wasn't it? He got injured before that game. I think he had like 4 and 6 or 5 and 6, and he was working really well with, I think at the time it was Coburn must have been out, or it was just before Coburn come in after his injury, because obviously Coburn joined us on an injury. Loft was doing really well. He had a good run in the team. Back end of the season, he looked good as an impact player. I think unless you're going to get, spend a little bit of money and get someone better, I think we should. Loft is an important player for our team. Me personally, I don't know what everyone else is. What's your thoughts on Loft? Because I think we've talked about it before, but looking at him, what he can offer, he can offer us something. Like I said, when he had a run of games, and he can offer good impact off the bench as well, which he's done in a few games this season.
I mean, it depends what it is you're looking for from Ryan Loft. At the end of the day, Ryan Loft's never going to be a player who's going to get on the half turn, sell you 2 lollipop step overs, and thrash one into the top corner. He's just not that boy. What he is he's chaos. He's chaos, and that is sometimes when a game's a bit sticky, it's not really going anywhere. You can't really get him behind or break a side down. Sometimes it's got to go in the box. Sometimes you've got to get it out wide and chuck it in there. And what Ryan Loft offers you is chaos. And also, if you can't break a side down in there and they're getting to grips with your creative players and your X factors, like if Collins is getting no joy and you need someone to occupy centre halves and get into a scrap and a fight and be physical, Loft's your man. You know what I mean? There's more than one way to win a game. And it ain't always by being pretty nice and tidy, getting it out your feet, spraying it wide, cutting in and dancing around players. Sometimes you have to cause chaos, and that is what Ryan Loft is.
Yeah,
he's earned his money already. He's paid for himself. We paid 50 grand for him and got promoted. He's paid for himself already.
Yeah, exactly. Mitch saying I like Loft, to be fair, better than Marquis. Yeah, to be fair, I like both. I know, considering we got Marquis in on a free, I think, what did he get? 10, 11 goals last season. In all competitions. I think he done well. Obviously, he come in with a bit of an injury, didn't he? I think he got injured, missed like the first sort of 5 to 7 games. And then he done well for us. I know he didn't really do that well when he started, but as an impact player, again, a lot of his goals were from the bench. And when you get 10, I think was it 10 or 11, I can't remember, but on a free, you can't really ask for much more, really, can you, from Marquis to get that amount of goals, and not considering I only think he started 18 games to get over double digits. I think is really good, don't you think, from Marquis, especially on a free transfer? It's not like we paid money for him. It's like it'd be different if we were Portsmouth, like they did when they got Marquis and they paid like 2 million for him, and he averaged 12 goals a season when he was at Portsmouth. Then you'd say something. But on a free, his work rate, his fight, his hold up play, his goal scoring. I know he's missed a few big chances in some big games, but he has done really well, Marquis.
I think, again, I said in the summer when we got him, if you was one of the big clubs in that league and you saw they'd signed John Marquis, you'd go, yeah, makes sense. You would do. So when we got him, I was more than happy. Again, you talk about rubber the green and getting a bit of luck as a player and as a side. I don't think we've seen a fit John Marquis yet. Really, we've not seen a real.
Yeah,
fit
that's what I mean.
John Marquis. I mean, he's bagged. If you look at his figures, he's done well for someone who's been a bit bitty in and out. The best he's looked was Charlton, and that was as a sub. And he looked hungry, fit, healthy. Looked like he never looked like he was going to miss in front of goal. I think if you can get that for the longevity of a season, he's going to be a big asset to you, John Marquis. It's about rubber the green. You look at, we'll probably go on to like other teams and fixtures, etc. You look at what Pompey are doing. They're signing loads of players. It doesn't mean anything. Just because you're signing loads of players, don't mean you're going to get top spot. There'll be some of them players that will do well. Some of them will fall by the wayside and underachieve. Some of them will get injuries, will get niggles. They won't be fit. They'll fall by the wayside. And I think we had a season like that where we just didn't knit together properly. We were unfortunate with injuries. We didn't get our number one targets in the summer or in the January, and it just sort of petered out. And I think, a lot of it is to do with rubber the green. I know John Marquis works damn hard in pre-season. If you see what he does, a lot of pre-season, he works on himself a lot, and he tries to be a fit, healthy boy. Injuries just come along, and they are what they are, unfortunately. But if we can get a fit and foreign John Marquis, I think we'll be better for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Spot on assessment from Neil says, I like horses. Lofty does well in those really tough games. Yeah, I agree. And you look at it, it's that Plymouth game, like that little back hill, even think that, Loft out of nowhere. And the Exeter play as well away from home. And he has scored in some big games, and some people might think he's awful. Other people might think, but he is a good player, and I do think he offered us something. He is a decent player for like someone off the bench, or even some games he can start, because he is a good player. So yeah, looking on that, what would you say with the striker department? How many, obviously looking on going to this season? Obviously, last season, Barton started with a 3 at the back with the 2 up front formation, but then obviously changed it. How many, basing on that, and we've got obviously Collins, Loft, Marquis, how many do you think we need next season? Striker department.
I think one more. I think any squad, if you're looking to build it, you're looking to have 4 first-team centre forwards if you can get them. Not necessarily all of the same mould. Like I said, you've got someone who can cause a bit of chaos in Loft. You've got someone who lives in the box with Marquis, as is a bit of a he's a bit of a maverick. He can create his own chances and score goals. I think
pace. I think we need.
If it's me, you're looking for someone more along the lines of
pace and power.
I'm thinking more along the lines of moulding sort of Marquis and Loft together, someone who's good with their back to goal, but ultimately lives in the box. We've got centre forwards that can work hard and run channels and close down fullbacks, etc. I'd be quite happy to see a centre forward who's got a bit of presence about him and just lives in the box, to be honest, because we can talk about our attacking prowess. We've never had no problems really going forward. We have spells where we look like we're not going to create a lot, but over the course of a season, our goal scoring record and like our attacking point of our side is not the issue.
No,
but I would like us to have another centre forward in our ranks.
Yeah, absolutely. Mitch, and I did see a rumor that we're going to try for Taylor again. Yeah, I mean, I seen a loan rumor personally. I would want it permanent. I don't really want to have too many loans this season. Obviously, it's up to Barton at the end of the day and the recruitment team, but I want to try and get more permanent players. You know, a lot of the loans last season done well. Don't get me wrong, but it's just again I know it's the sort of same at quite a lot of clubs. Obviously, not every club goes and gets loads of loans. Like look at Plymouth. I think Plymouth. I know it's a huge step up anyway, but all their good players and a lot of they had a good first team players, but Ballymumba, Finazaz, you know, Cosgrove, the midfielder Matete on loan from Sunderland, they've all gone back and they're probably not going to get them back. So it's the same with us, really. Although, yeah, but yeah, I would like to see him back, but hopefully on a permanent deal. Fingers crossed. Thoughts on Sinclair? I sort of did say yesterday from on the chat with Gab. What is he now? 34. He doesn't. He's still done well for us last season. Done very well as a wing back. Still obviously likes to get on the ball. But obviously now it's getting to the stage where, you know, we need a bit more because he obviously now is with his age, his pace has gone down a lot. I would obviously we need wingers anyway, don't we? Because we've only technically got, well, if you count Greenslade and Jones as wingers, then fair enough. But like you said, they probably won't see as much game time. So we've only got one winger in Sinclair. So realistically, although Collins played there last season, we need at least two wingers. And it all depends on what Rovers want to do, whether they want to really go for it or obviously stay within budget, but really go for it and try and get some real pace, someone that can take players on. So obviously Sinclair can still do that, but he's getting to the age now where, you know, he can't always start. But like you said, he's still a good player to bring on. What's your thoughts on Sinclair? Obviously, you've got a year left as well.
Yeah, really like him, to be honest. Really like Scott Sinclair. I think he's really good for us as far as you talk about them. When we had that really successful season, League Two, we had that culture of good senior pros in there, and I think he has to it. You look at what that bloke's done in his career and the players he's played for. Him being around the building in a training ground every single day can only be good. I didn't have a problem with the way he operated out on the pitch. I mean, at the end of the day, I know his age, but he's probably in better nick than a lot of these lads in their early 20s. The way he looks after himself. I mean, you can throw an age at someone, but Scott Sinclair does not operate like what you picture a 34-year-old. You know what I mean? He's fit as a fiddle. There's no ounce of body fat on him. He's never really getting niggles or injured. I mean, his recovery's brilliant, and he operates again. I think when he's bad, wingers are like that. When you play bad, you can dig your wingers out all day. The most inconsistent players will find wingers just how they're made. You very rarely get one who's red hot every single week. Scott Sinclair is pretty consistent, and he should be. Look at the level he's operated in. The
Champions League,
where he's played, and the clubs he's played for, and the cultures he's been around.
Yeah,
this should be a walk in the park for him. You know, League One's a fight for him. It ain't difficult to operate in. His football IQ's sky high for League One. It's just about having to deal with, you know, area, centre halves, and fullbacks bashing him about. That's what it is.
Yeah. I agree. Mitch saying I used to like Luke Thomas and Barnsley. I don't think he'll be back though. Yeah. So well, we've obviously had him. Didn't go to plan. Obviously your mate Luke Thomas would you take him if they was to offer or if Barton was to go in for Luke Thomas again, get him. I think it would, if we was going to get him, it would be on a permanent. Would you like to see us get Luke Thomas, or can we do better?
I don't know what the Luke Thomas is you're going to get though. If you're going to get a Luke Thomas, I'd have to speak to a Barnsley fan. If they say that he's completely sorted upstairs, he's dead professional, he's bang on it, then I'd have no problem going and get it. I just thought the Luke Thomas we had was no good for us. He flattered to deceive. Like I said at the time, we brought him in to be our marquee boy.
Yeah,
it's a good job we got Evans, because if we were left with him, we'd have been screwed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's too difficult to say. If you're going to say you can have the Luke Thomas that Rovers had and have him back, I'd be like, no, don't bother. But if you've got a Luke Thomas that played for Barnsley, I know he had a bad injury, but if Barnsley are going to let him go, and a Barnsley fan tells me that Luke Thomas is red hot, he's overcome all his demons and all the rest of it, and he's bang at it. If Barton sees a way of fitting him into our midfield or into our attacking three or wherever they want to play him, then yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But if you're going to say to me you're going to get the Luke Thomas that Rovers had before, then I'd say don't bother.
Yeah, that's completely fair. Obviously, finally, we've literally, I can't believe that how quick the time's gone, but we're going to finally get to the fixtures. I was going to start with that, but obviously, went into different things. Obviously, transfers is obviously a big part because we all want signings, etc. And it was good to get everyone's thoughts on all the different signings as well. Keep hitting the like button if you haven't already as well. Do subscribe if you're new. Turn on notifications. Hopefully, like whenever there is a new signing, obviously you know the crack. There will be a video. Depending on how many we sign in a day, etc. Then we will try, and if we're both free, etc. on the weekend, we will try and do another live to talk about and sort of get an opposition fan on as well. So yeah, all the deals with that as well. Versus SM saying, do you think we'll see the League Two Evans this season or the league? It's hard in it because although I was frustrated with it, and probably a lot of people was, he's playing completely different positions. So what he did, he was. Thing is, I would like to see him more forward because he doesn't work too well in the deep position because he doesn't know how to tackle. Every tackle I see him go in for, he gets booked. So I would like to see him more at the pitch, but if Barton wants him in there, it'll always give you everything, Evans. But for me, I would like to see him a bit more forward. But it sort of all depends on what formation we're going to do, who we sign, etc. So yeah, what's your thoughts on Evans for next season? Do you expect Barton to like sort of change it around a little bit, or do you think we'll see a different Evans in that role where he's got an actually learn how to tackle properly?
No, I think you'll see a bit of both. No different to what Joey just expects from you. At the end of the day, if you're a footballer, you're a footballer, and technically gifted. Evo, it's a big season for him. I think he'll be the first one probably to tell you that he'd want more output from himself. He was learning on the job a little bit last season. He was put in to ask to do a role that was a bit alien to him, but ultimately, if you want to be, like Joey says, if you want to be part of this and you want to keep us going, then you can't fall by the wayside. You just got to keep stepping up. And I think Evo will probably say, like I said, he'd be the first one to say, you need more output from himself. He was learning on the job, but I just expect him to be better all round, whether it be, out wide in the 10, sat in there as a three-man midfield. I mean, I write off the last sort of 10 games. We were safe. It was a bit of a muddle through. He's playing in there himself with novices, you know what I mean, like Bogard, etc. It's much of a nutshell. You can't really judge him on that, But when you've got people like Finley and Ross that are in there with you, you've got to step up and match them. And if you don't, you'll be replaced pretty quick. So I expect more from Evans next season, but I expect he does himself as well.
Yeah, definitely. Even into the Cool Galore 94, even in lads, odds on Colin staying. I think he'll stay, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone comes in late. It always seems to happen with Rovers. Even even the fact that he didn't score a lot in the second half of the season, the creativity, he was still creating and stuff. So yeah, hopefully he can stay, but who knows? And if he has to go, what transfer fee would be enough? It's tough. I'm not sure. Neil, what would you say? And people, let us know in the comments if a team was to come in, and if you were Rovers, what price would you sell them at, or what would be at least the minimum? Let us know in the comments. And Neil, what would you say with Collins? What fee, if he was to go, what fee would you accept as a fan?
I think Joey said when he got questioned on it the back end of last season, I think you've got to look at it the way you have to put it in context to other players. So if you look at the Scott Twine deal, if you're going to look at that as a sort of similar scenario of player where they've come from, how they've progressed, you're going to be looking at that 5.5 million mark.
Yeah, but he was even more than that though, wasn't he? Twine was like, including add-ons, I think it was like 8 mil. 8.
That might have been the basic figure without add-ons and 5.5. Then I'm assuming because that's what they put forward as far as a basic. Yeah. So, I mean, the way that inflation and transfer fees have gone from lower levels going up, then that's going to be your benchmark sort of thing. If you're looking at that Twine deal,
yeah. I mean, especially he's in his, what is he? Not long, just turned 26 as well. He's in his prime. Mm-hmm. He's got 34 goals over the last 2 seasons with us, along with 18 assists ish. Yeah, I would. Yeah, in the comments, people are saying 3 mil. Yeah, I would say at least. I would say at least 4. At least 4 mil.
You just got to hope that his contract hasn't got anything daft in it. You know what I mean? There's no clause in there or anything like that an agent can get hold of or someone's in the know of that could end up losing him on the cheap. But I don't know. I think you're looking at big money regardless for a club like us and what we've sold in the past. He's going to smash out the figures for what we've sold previously. Easy.
Yeah, completely. Right, obviously getting on to the fixtures finally. When they come out this morning, what was your first thoughts on the fixtures? What games are you looking out for? What games are you disappointed about? Obviously, we had a bit of a chat on WhatsApp earlier on about it, but yeah, what do you make of the whole?
I was really underwhelmed, to be honest. The first one I looked for was Blackpool away. And then I saw when it was and I was gutted. And then you think, right, we'll try and make the best of a bad situation here. Let's look at Fleetwood away Tuesday night. So, yeah. And then after that, I'm not too fussed, really. You look at the Boxing Day ones and the New Year's Day ones, but they're always going to be local jobbies sort of thing. I love Wigan away on the last day. I think that's a good one, to be honest. Other than that, it's much of a muchness. I don't really buy into the fact of who you get early and who you get late. I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? You can dress it up to go, Christ, we've got Pompey and Barnsley. Well, do you know what? They're not motoring yet. You want to be worried about getting them when they're motoring. You might catch them when they've not got into their stride like Derby didn't last season. So it's all much of a muchness. Until you get to sort of February, that's when people kick on and you start seeing what a side really is. And you sort of muddle through until then, reassess in the window around Christmas, January, see what you need, see what you can do if you need to or not. Every club's just going to be jostling for position until you get to sort of the February anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting one. Obviously, you get the buzz, but then it just goes back down to reality. It's just like you get who. Obviously, there's different ones. Like first game of the season, obviously Portsmouth away. I'm buzzing, even though our record there is shot. I can't remember. Someone said it when we lost there the last time when we won 3-1. When we lost 3-1. Sorry, when the ref was a Portsmouth fan, and he obviously gifted them a few goals, a penalty, etc. Didn't give us a penalty. I think he said it's something like 50 years, if I'm not wrong, 50 years, something mad, like another one of those mad things like we had with Charlton, but obviously the Charlton curse is now broke, hopefully. We hadn't had one at the Valley in 60 years, hadn't done the double on them in God knows how long. So yeah, Portsmouth away, I'm buzzing for it. Love Fratton Park. I always look for ones near my birthday as well, but around November the 3rd, but there isn't anything. So celebrating 27 is just going to be, just no football. Obviously, last game of the season, what was it? Wigan away, like you said. Wigan, I do like Wigan Stadium. I've been there, I think, once, and I think we lost. I think Ellis Harrison missed a penalty, I want to say, and we I think we lost 2-0. So I'm not, it's one of those, isn't it? Obviously, the starting on paper, and we're talking paper, like how many points do you reckon? Looking at it now, obviously we can look more into it as it gets closer, but looking at it now, what would be acceptable for you right now? Or even just say, imagine if we had a fully fit squad, etc. How many points would you take from the first 5? And let us know in the comments if they're actually that tough, because I can't remember what someone said on Twitter earlier on. It was like, I think I said 3 wins from that for the first 5, and someone was like, "What? Like that's a tough game." I'm like, "Is it though?" Like,
this is what I mean. How do you know? You don't know. It's a complete lottery at the start of the season. Yeah. Pompey have just signed a load of bodies. They're either going to hit the ground running and be, they're going to come out the blocks, or they're going to take a while to gel, like Derby did. You know what I mean? You can dress it up or run it down, depending on your narrative. I mean, if I'm looking at that, what I will say is when I first looked at it and I looked at all the fixtures, you look at them clubs, I think over 3/4 of them sides are going to be stronger than what they were last season. I look at some of them sides, I think they're going to be better. I mean, you look at Pompey, they're going to look to be better under Mark, who's the guy who's taken over, John Machino.
John Machino.
Under a full pre-season under his belt, they're going to look to be better. Barnsley are going to be there and thereabouts, regardless of whether Duff's there or not. For me, Charlton looked good under what's his name when he got him sorted out. Cambridge, I think, will be down around the dead men again. I don't fancy Wickham to be better, to be honest. I think the Bloomfield thing's not done well for him, to be honest. I think they'll be middle of the road. Yeah. Lincoln, I fancy to be down there around it. Reading could be chaos again. Shrewsbury will be hard to beat at their place.
What do you think of that, by the way? With the fact, do you reckon there's something going on behind the scenes with Cottrell? Because for them for him to,
mate, I don't know. Maybe it's I don't know what Shrewsbury think they are as a side. To me, they're just like they're a nothing team. You know what I mean? They got no one around them. Who's there? Who do they thrive off of? They ain't got no real rivals. They just sort of they're like an old granny team, aren't they? For me, just like a nice side that no one really asked about. You know what I mean? No one looks at Shrewsbury and go, "I want to kill them." Do you know what I mean? No one hates them, and no one really loves them. They're just a bit meh. But I don't know what Shrewsbury think they are as a side, to be honest, because if they think, we'll get rid of Cottrell and get some new young big hitter in who's going to like revitalise the whole thing and make us play like Brazil 70 football. Yeah, I don't know what they think they are or what they're trying to do, to be honest. They must have an agenda, but I don't know what it is. If I'm Shrewsbury, I'm thinking just give me League One football at the end of the season. Because, I mean, as a club, I don't know what they are. Do you know what I mean? They're just, I think of Shrewsbury and think nothing. Do you know what I mean? I just don't think anything. Yeah. Wigan are going to be fighting for their lives as far as trying to keep himself afloat.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? I don't get that. Like you said, it's like, do you obviously based on what you said then? Do you because I was also one of them when you see the teams in the league, you think, pardon me, that doesn't, this league doesn't look as strong. But then when you go on about it, I think Burton with their few signings look better.
Dino will get them hard to beat. They'll be hard to beat. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you look at it,
you have to get your noses in front against a side like Burton. You have to.
Yeah. Well, even last season, you look at it, it was mad. Obviously, second game of the season, we battered them 4-0, even up to January. Or
that's a Hasselbank thing. Like Dino will get them completely.
That's what I mean. It's mad. Like we were like 20 points above them, and they ended up finishing like 5 points above us.
They'll be that every day at training will be horrible for them Burton lads. They'll be getting their legs run off them. They'll be strong as hell. They'll be fit. They'll be good from set pieces, and they will kick lumps at you all season. That won't be an easy game, Burton. You've got to get your noses in front against them, else they'll make life hell for you. I think Port Vale will be.
They just signed that Ripley as well. That's a good signing for Port Vale, though.
Well, he'll be busy. I think he'll be busy anyway.
Like he was last season.
You look at Fleetwood, they'll go again. He'll make them better. Brown will make them better. Derby will be feel hard done by and go again. Orient look like they're playing good stuff now. They looked good last season. I think they'll carry that momentum on. Carlisle, they're going to pick points up at home. No danger of that.
Yeah.
There's some good,
especially with the crowds they were getting. You see the crowds they were getting.
Stevenage at home. That'll be tough.
Yeah,
that'll be like playing a Tisdale side no more. Evans will have them hard to beat at home. There's sides in there that look at Bolton. They're going to go again.
Yeah,
sides in there that are going to be hard to beat.
I think Bolton will be top two. I think.
Yeah, I'll go with them and Barnsley. To be honest, I probably think them and Barnsley.
Yeah, I think with them. Obviously, that was another one I was going to talk about. Cogley, we were Alan Nixon, who's quite a big, journalist. He was saying obviously linked with Rovers. Obviously, I think he's going Bolton to be backup to a player of mine. That Kane Wilson, who I thought he was unbelievable for Forest Green in that League Two side. Obviously went to Bristol City. I think he got a few niggles and then he couldn't get in the side. But I don't think they've got him yet. But he's meant to be joining them. That is a hell of a signing.
But you've got another two here. Look at you'll have Blackpool under Critchley will be good. Under Critchley, going. They'll be good. Oxford under Manning, they won't be no mugs. Manning will get them right. He'll have a full pre-season under him. He'll recruit his players. And I think he went from a side that couldn't score goals, and I had them. I think I had them at 6-1 to go down. Oxford.
I remember you saying.
And then he managed to turn them into an outfit that was winning games 4-0. Manning will get them right. I think Oxford, and they'll be strong.
Yeah. I like Corsi saying, didn't we have Argyle Wednesday? And yeah, we did. Yeah, that was tough. That was very tough. Obviously, Argyle, we were 2-0 down, but should have won. I thought that was our best performance, one of the best performances of the season, as well as the Wednesday game. I also think, even though Belshaw had to pull off them 2 saves, I thought we should have battered them. The chances we had, I think Collins missed 2 1-on-1s, Coburn missed a 1-on-1. I think we should have won that game in the end. But yeah, we only end up picking 2 points out of 9, but which was still, it was a bit frustrating after you come away from them games, wasn't it? Only picking up. But what do you think? Obviously, we've talked a little bit about the fixtures. What do you think next season? What do you want to see from this Rovers team and just to make us that little bit better, whether it's in-game management, whether it's, I don't know, it could be anything. Could be, I mean, I'll give you my thought on it. I would like to see, because I don't think last season we had to play pretty well to win a game last season. Whereas you look at other teams, they can not play so well, like Wednesday did for not a large period, but for a small period. Wickham also done it in the first half of the season, where they, even against us, I thought they were poor against us, but they beat us 2-0. I want us to be like that, Nick. If we're gonna have a top half finish, we need to really win when we're not playing so well. For me, anyway, that's what I'd like to see from us. What is there anything that you want to see, or anyone in the comments let us know as well?
Yeah, I think this season coming, I'd like us to, like I said about last season, you look at that League Two season, you could put anyone in that league and say, this is what Bristol Rovers are, this is the side they are, and this is what they're about. I don't think you could say that last season. We was a bit wishy-washy. I'd like Barton to go back to not compromising and saying, this is what a Joey Barton's team is, and this is what they do, and you'll know what you're going to get from us every single week. And that's what I want us to go back to, being a side that is relentless without the ball, at trying to go and get it back, have those dogs in midfield that will not let you off the hook. Those, the double screen. If you're going to play three in there, have three lads in there that will run and hunt and go and get that ball back. And I want us to go back to having that dominant centre half that will win that first contact in the box. I just want us to go and look like a Joey Barton team, like we used to, because I think last season we went away from it a little bit by just trying to muddle through and pick up results how we could. And I think Joey sort of alluded to it in some of his interviews where he's got to go and do things that he doesn't really want to do to try and get through certain periods of the season and certain stages. But that all comes down to the bodies and what you've got available to you. So if we can build a squad to say, do you know what, we haven't really got to plug holes all season. We haven't got to try and compensate for anything. Just go back to saying, we've got a team full of like animals that are on fire that just want to go and run hard and get a result by hard work and endeavour, and a little bit of quality at the top end of the pitch will show through. I want us to go back to being that sort of team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. What's that? When I think of Shrewsbury, I think of Igo. Yeah, definitely. That was my first season of watching Rovers. Would have been earlier if I wouldn't have if I had family that are Rovers fans, but I don't. But luckily, my mate in primary school said, "Oh yeah, fancy going watching Rovers," and yeah, ever since then, last what? I can't remember that. I don't even know how long. I'm losing my mind. That's what I mean. Rovers makes you lose your mind, man. It's like what, 17 years? 17 years about that. So yeah, top 10 saying gasp. Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely that's what we need to do. And also 7 players. To be fair, when Barton, I mean, we could still see the 12 players that Barton said, but I think it's more. Yeah, I'd probably say the same 7 or 8. But yeah, quality over quantity, definitely for me. Obviously, I think you would agree, Neil, as well. How many signings do you think we'll make? Do you think it'd be the 12, or do you think it'd be a bit less than that?
Oh, no, I can see us getting 10 or 12, to be honest. And I think you've got to rule out that 10 and 12 being up until Pompey. I mean, at the end of the day, the window shuts at the end of August, and that's when it will go to. Like, everyone's going to be starting building their first half of the season squad come the end of sort of that month. So forget about what you're left with first game of the season and people panicking going, we're thin on the ground, we ain't got enough players in. Well, do you know what? We've got another month yet, so relax.
Yeah.
I think I agree with you to an extent. Yeah, there is quality over quantity, but you can be left threadbare because you can have the best players in the world, but if they're sat on their ass and they can't play, they're no good.
Yeah,
you need to. But Joey will be probably saying to himself, he left himself a little bit thin last week. But that's how we model the squad on recruitment, of getting these players that could operate at a higher level, but they've been unfortunate with landing them deals because their fitness had let them down, and we invest heavily in our sort of physio department, sports science, nutrition, etc., to try and get them sort of players. You look at Grant Ward. I mean, that sort of player that could probably go and get a better deal, but we snap him up because we take a gamble on them, so to speak, and try and get them right off the pitch so they do the business on the pitch. Yeah. I think we do need to get deeper. I think I'm looking at double figures to get that squad bulked out, but they do have to be the right men.
Yeah, definitely. Evening to Charlie Boy as well. Thanks for tuning in. But yeah, that's where we're pretty much going to wrap it up now. It's been nearly an hour and 15 minutes. It's gone really quick, just chatting all things Rovers, transfers, fixtures, bit of last season, etc. But like I said, I will leave in about an hour or so. I will go and get put all the time chapters in the description. So if you're just joining now and you want to watch it back, then I will leave the chapters in the description below. Just if you want to watch the whole thing, then that would obviously be great. But if you fancy just watching little snippets at a time and on the certain subjects we're talking about, then I will leave it there. And also, like I said, if you haven't joined us from the start, I will also be, me and Neil will be rebranding the channel, new name, new look, better quality of content, new laptop to make the graphics, etc. The webcam to make it look clearer, different lights, etc. I really want to, just put in that little bit more quality. And yeah, just a new start really, because the support since I started the channel, and then since Neil joined me on the channel as well, a few years back, is been outstanding really for me to, it's amazing. So yeah, it will pretty much still be the same thing. Although I will be uploading hopefully within a month or two to Apple and Spotify, etc. So if you don't want to listen on YouTube, or you've only watched half on YouTube, you can listen to there as well. But yeah, we will be back. If we sign some players, then we'll see when we're both free, etc. And yeah, if anyone else wants to come on as well, just let me know on Instagram or whatever, or Twitter. But yeah, go and drop Neil a follow if you want as well on Twitter. Feel free to follow my socials. You can if you want. Subscribe if you want as well. Appreciate the continued support. Hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll catch you later. Up the gas.